The pictures tell the story. This life had many shades. I'd wake up every morning, and before I'd start each day, I'd take a drag from last night's cigarette that smoldered in its tray. Down a little something, and then be on my way.
What up, guys? Wow, I look kind of fuzzy there. I guess because I can't shave right now because I got bit by a tick on my head. 5 places. But anyhow,
What?
yeah, we can talk about that here shortly. So anyway, guys, I'm glad everybody's back. I do apologize for some of the frazzleness that I may have tonight. I do have a lot of work taking place right above me, where I've had all that water damage and stuff from the HVAC. It's good times, really good times at my house. I think when it's all said and done, it's going to be closer to $60,000 worth of damage that they had to replace.
Jeez.
So super excited about that. My gym is torn up as well because they had to take that ceiling out as well. So that's good times. They're like, sir, can you move all this weight? I'm like, no, I can't. I mean, I can, but where am I going to put it? We can just put it outside. And I'm
Where
like,
did you put it?
it's still in the same spot. They can work around that. Right.
Get a pump in while you're doing your work.
I was going to say maybe the price of the
You're feeling
repairs
stressed
just went up a little bit because they had to jump up over all your weights.
Not an issue with me. I have insurance.
There you go.
But anyway, so I do apologize for a little bit of frazzleness. And then, so ticks. So I take my dogs for a walk every morning, and we do about 2.5, 3 miles, sometimes a little bit more than that. And Little Chief, everybody knows Little Chief. He's not like Joe Biden, the other one, who falls going upstairs. Surely y'all can get the parallel. But anyway, the other one, Little Chief. He likes to run through the tall grasses out here in the country and all that stuff. And then we get back, and he, of course, gets all over me, and we're just hanging out. And he's loving on me. And he's cute. And if you've never followed his Instagram, it's Little Chief Murphy on Instagram, and he has his own little page and all that. And it's freaking wonderful, beautiful dog. Well, I didn't realize I had a tick on me because it's not something I look around at all day, and they're so little you don't feel them. Anyway, that son-bitch bit me 5 times in a row on the top of my head before I ever found him. All right. Because I didn't feel the bites. And it's almost like when I got bit by the brown recluse. It seems to be a reoccurring incident with me, being bit by brown recluse or other spiders or now ticks. Arachnids are not my friend. So anyway, now we got all that aside. What's everybody drinking?
Man, that's a rough day. First of all.
Oh, there you go.
Heaven Hill,
There you go.
bottle and bonded, 7-year.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I had some of that the other day.
I have some of that upstairs that I still haven't opened yet. That came from Billy.
Very nice. I just killed my bottle of New Riff single barrel. This one was really popular at a gathering at my neighbors. Someone who found a kindred spirit, another guy who's into bourbon, at kind of a get together. And we put a hurting on that bottle in about a day. And I had just a little bit left. I said, you know what? Tonight's the night.
But is it the neighbors that are moving?
Yeah.
Hate that for them, but
They're
I
moving
also
up to
understand why.
Heritage. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I told you about the cockroach.
Yep. But we didn't talk about it. I get it.
Yeah.
DJ, what you drinking, man?
So I'm drinking the new release from Castle and Key, the Restoration Rye.
Mm.
And
Some of that.
this is just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. There isn't a Castle and Key product that's out there that I don't really enjoy.
Right.
Their weeded bourbon was, unbelievable. So this is just released 2023. Let's see, it's 114 proof.
Wow.
And it's just a fantastic rye, and I don't even taste the proof in it. It's not hot whatsoever, and so
I was going to ask you, is it rye? Because to me the better ryes don't give you like a super hard rye punch right on the front. But it's
Right.
more of like a mellow heat throughout. Is it more in that vein kind of a thing?
It is. And what I like about the rye, just my palate. I like that pepper finish. I mean, I kind of like that. It doesn't hit the front at all, and just at the very end, you get the black pepper, and that's just something
Nice.
I really enjoy.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good one.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Gene-
So,
Why is
Gene-
Gino here?
He is busy cooking and preparing for. He has his annual get together with his fraternity brothers. He and I spoke yesterday a little bit, and he said that he was going to try and make it, but this is obviously a priority.
Yeah.
But he
of
would
course.
join in the chat if he couldn't make it on the show. He's like, he's steady Eddie with the show. So if he's,
I know. That's the reason why I asked where he was at.
Yeah,
Cool.
So-
All
good
right,
to see you, man.
what are
So
you
what-
drinking, Jody?
That's what I was getting ready to say.
Oh.
I'm currently drinking the black label of the Bardstown of the new Origins. That's what I'm currently drinking. But I will tell you what I'm getting ready to move to once I'm finished with this. And obviously, I really like the cast drink. I just bought this bottle the other day. All right. And
That tracks.
I mean, that looks like a problem,
Yeah.
I'm being facetious, but damn, that's some good stuff. Now I've had some stress this week, so there's that. So that, and I'm allergic to everything in Tennessee already. Now you're pulling out insulation in my attic and everything, and pulling up boards and all this nonsense, knocking down walls, and I'm like, oh man, you guys are awesome. Love this. Let me talk to my students real fast.
There you go.
So, but yeah, I'm gonna move to that here momentarily once I finish this. But I'm in no hurry. So, all good. Hey, I do want to talk about something. Have you guys ever heard of the whiskey flavor wheel?
No, I've not. But
No.
first, I want to address these two comments. Gene said, like I said, the fraternity reunion. He's joining, but it's rather noisy here. It's all good, brother. And
Hello.
someone says hello.
It's my wife.
Oh,
I was
Hey,
like,
Kay.
who? What? Kay. Okay, that's her Christian name. Okay, right there. All right. There you go. I was
You-
like, what?
You realize, of course,
hello. All
you
right.
married up. You realize that, right?
No,
we've
no.
always said that to him.
Oh,
Yeah, definitely.
1000%.
Anyone in this group who married up.
All right, so
I think we've
1000%.
got that covered.
all right, so the whiskey wheel. Oh, daggum it! I don't want you. Should let you guys continue talking because this is jackass. All right, so
Oh, it's
it's
all
broken up into different categories. I'll try to. I wish I should share screens and just do it that way rather than doing it this archaic way. But essentially, it's a wheel of flavors.
Yeah.
It gives you the charts on them, right? So, like in your traditional wood tastings, you would get your toasted vanilla, old wood, new wood, stuff like that. Moving over to the winery tasting, that you might get chocolate, nutty, oily, sherried, and then I didn't even know there was a cereal part of it, which would be your malts, your yeast, your husky, your not like husky like
Like
the
the
jeans
dog.
that we used to order back in the day for ourselves. Our parents would go, "Hey, look, he's a husky," and I still don't think that's a size. I think that was just a way to tell the person that was trying to help you find clothes that he's a little big bone,
He's a little big bone.
But anyway, it's broken up into like fruity and floral.
He likes his
peaty,
protein.
and so on. All right. I just found it interesting. I found it today and I was like, so all of our notes that we have, whether tasting or smelling, because this goes for both, fall within those areas.
Good comment, Gene. He says husks and grains, maybe.
It does say husky. It says dry hops, which would be husk. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
And then mousy. Ooh, I don't like how mousy sounds. Is that mouse droppings? What is that? Then they have pot. And then ale, and then iron.
Pot
tonic
isn't like
and-
pot still, like
I guess.
Pot
and,
is
then
in
and then they have chafe like. I don't know what that
Herbal.
is either. But anyway, well, I mean, look at the
Chaff?
yeasty one. Yeah.
maybe. Okay.
What'd I say?
Chafe.
Okay, yeah, it's chaff. I'm sorry. I read what I wanted to read.
Yeah, I know.
And then here's the other one. Here's the yeast. Boiled sausages, meaty gravy. That's them. I just found it interesting because we all have picked out these notes, whether they're smelling notes or tasting notes and whatever. And it's related to the wheel. And I thought that was fascinating. It's the reason why I named the show that tonight. Should have named it
I think that's
$60,000 worth of damage being ripped up in the house right now.
Jody's gonna have
it's gonna be a hard day's show, is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm coming off of. We're doing PI at my job, so I spent 11 hours sweating my ass off in a warehouse today. So like I've definitely earned a drink, and I'm like I just barely got home in time, dude. Like I'm still wearing my shirt from work. Like that's the Quanta. There you go, right there.
Quanta, I thought it was QAnon. So
that would be hilarious.
What's funny is you'd probably know more about it than any of us, but
Oh, God.
Unfortunately, I probably do. I really don't want to. It's unwilling on my part.
I think every person I've ever met on your side of the aisle knows more than me about it.
And that's a wonderful thing. It's good. Yeah. Do not associate.
I'm still trying to figure out how the fuck you two ever became friends.
This is how we became friends.
Yeah, really. So we were sitting there screwing with each other online on Spring Hill I Heart It. Was that the page?
It was one of those, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that page anymore. So anyway, it was a page.
I'm not a fan of any page anymore, except ours, by the way.
Yeah.
Whiskey
And if you're
Rebellion.
not part of the VIP chat, you need to be. David Farley is a part of it now.
Nice. Yeah, he might join us. He said he might come on sometime.
Yeah,
I think that'll be cool.
Yeah. And just so we all are clear, in the VIP chat, there is a fuck you, David. That is not that David. It is the David we see here tonight.
This is the pores.
So just know who we're all talking to here. But anyway, no. What was I going to say?
You're busy thinking of digs.
Doctor can't remember shit. How you two became
We're talking
friends.
about how you met.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So we were fighting on Spring Hill I Heart It. And it was probably about I know it was about
That wasn't even a fight, though. We obviously didn't see eye to eye, and we still don't on most things. Well, most things political. But, like, we didn't fight. Like, not the way I fought with other people. We didn't.
like that time you were going to meet Matt and you went out there to meet him and took a picture.
Yeah, that literally happened.
But anyway,
literally
so that's how we became friends. And we were going back and forth, and I was like, "That's little dude, I'll break him." So I just might as well see if he wants to get a drink, and we'll talk about it. Well, we did. We scheduled a date to go have a couple beers and just get to know each other and stuff like that. And that's when my daughter died. So we had to scratch that.
I didn't know that at the time. But
Yeah, he did not know that time. Nobody knew that time. Yeah. Well, my
it's not
Facebook
really,
friends.
public information. But
Yeah. So anyway, so from there, James McVeigh. It's hard to do
story
it,
night,
Chris.
guys. It's story night.
Anyway,
I know.
he and I had become friends, and so all of us were sitting over here, and I said, we got to invite this guy, David Papayan.
You know what's can I interrupt just for a second?
I do it purposely.
My fiance Janie calls me Poppin constantly, to the point where our neighbors needed to stop a conversation where we were having, and they were like, "How do you actually pronounce your name?" Because they've never heard it correctly, not even one time, because they always hear her call me Poppin. No one ever pronounces my name correctly, on their own. It's happened 3 times in my whole life, and I always have to correct people, which I never mind. It's Papayan, but I just love the ongoing deliberately saying my name wrong when they know better. And you of all fucking people with the letters,
I know, with my last name.
Yeah, and I don't even fuck with you about that.
I'm just gonna fucking call you Papaya. Fuck it. Be
There
done
you
with
go.
it.
I never get Poseidon. Why? Why do I never get Poseidon?
Because you don't look like
It's
a
always-
swimmer.
Yeah, you're not that cool.
That's
looking.
fair.
So I look at David's name and I look at his last name and I go, David. Oh yeah, David.
David.
Yeah, that guy.
But anyway, so I invited him over to this bar, but it was a different bar at the time. It was much more archaic than it is today, where it's pretty stylish and nice and all that. Anyway, so he comes over, and we're and he is. I still think he's a little hesitant, thinking we're going to start a fight, and I'm like, because me and James met him out there, and James is no fierce competitor to look at. Like, you don't look at him and go, I might get my ass beat. No one does that. Would that be fair?
James, yeah, that would be absolutely fair. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean that derogatory. He doesn't have a fighter's build or a swimmer's build or any type of build that would be anywhere dominant as a masculine man.
Pillsbury Doughboy.
No. He's not fat.
No, he's not fat at all.
He's not fat at all.
A scrawny dude. Yeah,
He's
he's
just lanky. He's lanky and scrawny as fuck. He looks like he might be like part Taliban or something. Like he's.
Well, also the last name McVeigh, like the terrorist jokes that come from that, you know.
I didn't think about that until. I mean, I have thought about.
I wish nothing ill towards him. I know sometimes we
No.
talk shit and we have fun and stuff like that.
Yeah, I like the dude. The dude's solid. It's nothing like that. I don't mean. But if he was standing here, I would tell him saying like, dude, nobody's scared of you. No one. No
Facts.
And just in case he's watching, shout out to Jack Frost.
There he is.
He reached out to me just to say what's up, see how I was doing.
Okay.
I thought that was quite nice, and I appreciate it.
I show some class. All right.
Hey,
that made my hour. So
there you go.
Maybe we can get back on the show sometime.
Yeah, why not?
It's like, don't move too fast now. Don't move too fast. We're gonna have James back on the show probably before we have Jack Frost back on the show.
I don't know about that one.
I don't think he would come anyway, so it doesn't matter.
But anyway, so we got up over here and we were having a few drinks and stuff, and we came up with this idea to start this page and podcast called Whiskey and Politics. Now I can tell you something that does not go together: whiskey nor politics.
Yeah, consuming alcohol and having bitter. I think maybe that's one of the reasons why we've had an enduring friendship is that we do drink a lot together and have also had sometimes very charged political discussions, and yet we've remained friends despite that. Like
even though
like
your
even
though your soon to be wife is like, I don't like that dude.
Yeah, because you say what you're thinking when you're sober, and you lean into it a lot more when you've been drinking. Some of that, not even stuff that I've deliberately shared with her, some of it that she's just overheard, it puts you not in, she's not in the fan club. I'll just say it that way.
Well, just so she knows, she's in my fan club.
I know she is. Oh, she's in. I will say this live just because it's hilarious. So she's trying to make some extra dollars, so she's Uber driving this and that in and around Nashville, right? This happened not 2 nights ago. Part of that, she had a fare. She went to do a pickup. It was at a bar, which is usually not a good.
I thought you said affair. I was like, wow, you're taking this really well.
Well, it could have been. That's where I'm going. Is it could have been. I'm saying this a lot, guys. This is going to be fun. So, and who is she didn't know who it was, but it was a active member of the band Cinderella. Like someone who's active part of. She doesn't know, and I was asking her because I wanted to know. I got real curious about it.
Jeff Limbar.
Was he tall? She doesn't know. She said he was old enough to be her dad.
Well, yeah, of course.
But she was invited to go back to his hotel room and bang out, basically, as his Uber driver.
That's cool. That's cool. That's quite an honor.
She
from an 80s rock star.
That's not how she took it.
No, I mean, I don't mean that derogatory. See, do not take that back to her and say, Jody said.
I'm not going to say a fucking word about it.
That's a huge honor for an 80s
it's
rock
good
star.
thing she doesn't watch the show.
That's not the way I meant that at all. What I meant is that, back in the day, Tom Kiefer or Jeff Limbar, I don't remember all their names, Eric Brittenham, and then there's one more, the drummer. But they all live here locally. They live in Smyrna. Is where many of them live. One lives in Franklin area and the rest of them live in Smyrna.
Yeah, apparently they base out in this area and then they can fly out to different places to do gigs and tours. And
I only know that because
and he explained that to her.
Of my connection with Mark Slaughter from the band Slaughter. He lives in Franklin, and he and I have had a few adult beverages together, and I geeked out on 80s music because I love 80s rock and roll, And I liked Slaughter. I thought Mark Slaughter was a fantastic vocalist back in the day. And
what was the name of the band?
Slaughter. Oh, you talking about Cinderella? Cinderella.
Like Cinderella. Yeah, like
from
them.
The Disney.
Well, not like Disney.
No, but the 80s hair band. Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
That's why I was asking. I'm not being facetious.
No,
whatsoever.
that's fine. That's fine. That's
I've
fine.
never even heard of the name Cinderella for a band.
Oh my God.
What are their,
They
what are
were,
their hits?
Really?
Like I'm drawing a blank.
well,
right now.
like, so far, I mean,
because it's
I'll
like
look it
I'm
up.
sure you've heard
Cold
their
Long
songs.
Winter.
Yeah.
Nobody's Fool was their first major hit. Let me see what else.
What year?
Like 1984, 85, 86, 87, 88, somewhere in that time frame.
I got you.
Damn, I sounded old just then.
Yeah, you did. You really did. Even for
I
me,
mean-
you did.
But if you haven't heard of Cinderella, you've heard of like Kiss, Poison.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
they
they're
were-
kind of in that
In that
you know,
genre?
that pantheon of like 80s hair, you know,
I
rock
gotcha.
gods or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's
You know,
that's kind of where they were. But so apparently my fiance can put, which I would say obviously she could, but she was horrified and disgusted. It is the reality of the reaction because, you know, again, old enough to be her dad. So
Yeah, well, during
Not
that time
you.
I was in law school, so I didn't really have a lot of time.
so
to
you were doing nothing
listen
but
to
law school.
hair bands.
Especially if you were in your first year. My dad, who both my parents are lawyers, but my dad told me about like the weird like half psychosis you get in your first year of law school of like
Crazy.
you know like spinning out on all the hypotheticals and stuff like that. There's no room in your life to do anything else. So,
I didn't see my family for over 4 years when I was because I worked during the day and went to law school at night.
you know.
So there was no.
Did you become a JAG? Is that what you?
No. I was enlisted in the Navy, and then I get out. I went to college and then law school.
Oh, okay. So it was that.
yeah.
and
So I
then-
wasn't.
okay.
I wasn't a JAG Corps officer.
See, I did
Gotcha.
essentially the same thing. I was enlisted in the Navy, got out, went to school, my undergraduate first, obviously, and then got recalled back into the military, and then ended up
gotcha.
just staying in the military from that point, and then utilized those benefits to pay for both my graduate degrees and then also my doctorate. And I'll be honest with you, it's like, I don't want to get on this topic, but when I sit here and I think about people who could pay for student loans, I'm like, not everybody. I get that, and there's definitely a problem. I want to preface this. There's definitely a problem.
Show, guys.
No. What I'm saying is there's definitely a problem with the schools. They're charging way too much.
Oh, yeah,
this,
yeah.
that, whatever. But
Sure.
and I think it is like predatory loan, in my opinion. All right.
Yeah.
And it's what's surprising. It's the only type of loan you cannot bankrupt. And I
That's
find
not
that's
correct.
Oh, that's not.
That's
That's
not correct.
awesome. You'll have to tell me about that offline. Not
That's
that I
his
need it.
specialty. Yeah, we'll maybe get into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to be on a live talk show in Nashville TV at the end of the month, talking about the Supreme Court decision and the what to do next
If you,
and
go ahead.
everything. Yeah,
If
because
you could send us a link or something to
I-
that,
I
because
will.
I would be absolutely
I will.
Well, that
extremely
we can
interested in
share
that.
it too.
Yeah,
on-
absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
to
yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
'Cause, I mean, I don't,
Right.
and that's what I was going to say. Like, I took advantage of service, and there's other opportunities of service. Now, I will also agree there's problems there too, like part of the ACA, where it's you work for a nonprofit 10 years and you have payments for 10 years. You're supposed to be forgiven. And I know that there's a backlog on that. So you may be paying on it for 15 years and stuff like that. So there is still problems. And I know that, but for me, I used military, and then I used, the other option out there, I did not use. I used only military, and the other option that's out there is Peace Corps, and both of those were great opportunities for me. Some municipalities have the ability to pay off student debt once you're there for so long, and you have to contract with them for so long,
Yeah, that's true.
and stuff like that, and all of that's opportunities. But I still find that there's a major issue, and I work for an institution. I think there's a huge problem with the tuition rates going up all
the
the time.
cost of higher education.
Yep.
And what's really interesting about that is you go to any major university just about, and you drive around the campus.
It's freaking
and you-
awesome.
You look for the cranes, and you
Yep.
look for the new construction.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Belmont.
You know what they're building?
MTSU, man.
Sports complexes
hmm
and admin buildings. They're
Well,
not building-
Belmont's building a hospital. They're building a
yeah.
a
But my
new
point,
hospital, track.
my point being is that's why the cost of education is so high,
Yeah.
because the expanse is not to benefit the students that are going there. It's to build stuff that attracts students to come. The sports complexes.
It's
that's number one.
notoriety. Yeah, they're building.
Yeah.
notoriety.
And the other thing too is now they've got to hire people, right? And so the cost of education is going to admin and not the instructors. The other thing too is that is they're outsourcing the tenured professors and then using adjunct professors.
Yep,
to cut
I'm
the
one of those
costs.
too. I mean, I am a tenured professor at one place and I'm an adjunct at another.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is my tenured position, we're hiring a bunch of adjuncts now. And I just found out today that the College of Health Sciences, they terminated the positions of 200 positions in the last, June 30th. So the FY year, the beginning of the new FY year.
Yeah. And I'm thinking about maybe, transitioning to be an adjunct professor just to do something, because I certainly could teach, business law. I could certainly teach, any of the paralegal courses, any of that kind of stuff.
Well, we'll talk offline because we have a new HR program that's starting up. And we need some business law professors specifically because I teach mathematics, the graduate mathematics courses, accounting, finance, and economics and accounting.
Yeah.
And those are in some data. I do some data, but data is actually my background. But yeah, so I will reach out to you later this week.
That'd be great.
Because the HR program starts in a couple months and we are looking. And what's cool about that is for the position I'm tenured in, it's all online. Like you're just sitting where you're at right now,
That works.
Or like I am right now at the bar, which is also dubbed as my office for the next foreseeable future.
And I could do that in my camper at Glacier National Park too.
I do it from the beach house all the time down in Florida.
Go.
I do it all the time. I'm like, so what's that noise in the background? I'm like, guys, pay attention. We're doing we're doing mathematics.
That's the dream, guys. One day for me too. One day for me too. One day for Billy too. And I actually want to ask about that. How are things shaping up in the business world for Mr. Billy Breedlove?
I'm still waiting on that
Cafe 305.
I knew he was going to say it.
Before my folks, they got their sauce. They love it. They sent gratitude to me. I wanted to send gratitude to you. Everyone is very happy and pleased. I hope you're going to get regular customers out of them. You absolutely should.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm excited for them.
Things are progressing fast, very fast. So there is a butcher shop in North Miami, which is about 30 minutes from my house, that is going to start selling the sauce. I'm actually looking at a 1,200 square foot warehouse. So that will be nice. And the pop-ups are going well. And hey, listen, it's just busy. I love it. I don't know. I want to work on doing other stuff, meaning other sauces and stuff, but I want to streamline things a little bit more. With this guy, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Jack Frost said something about I do it on the toilet. I missed the specific context, but that's just generally speaking a great comment. Like it's wonderful. I do it on the toilet.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But is he an adjunct professor as well?
No. I don't think so. He might be, which that would go with that, I guess.
That's what I mean. That's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
And just as I was giving the guy a shout out, he goes and does that. Jesus Christ!
And then his students ask,
I
"What's
don't
that
think
noise
that was
in
in
the
reference to
background?"
anything you said.
August the 4th, my 500-gallon smoker on a trailer starts construction on the 4th of next month. So that's going to give me a lot more ability to do bigger pop-ups and things like that. So I'm looking forward to that.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So real quick, just on the Cafe 305. So I have both of these. So one's Nashville. Sorry, this one's Cafe 305. This one's Nashville Barrel Bourbon. All right. Both of them are great, but this one's leather. And I like that, except for when condensation gets on the leather. Then it sticks to it, gets a little bloated looking. Yeah. Looks like I do after I've eaten a bunch of bacon, and stuff of that nature. But what I love about the wood ones is they stay the same shape all the time. And they're
Yes.
fantastic. I love them. Love them. But if I'm drinking neat, I go with these. I'll be honest with you, because I like to support both the people, both the loves in my life.
Appreciate it.
So
what's going on in the bourbon world? We talked a little politics. We talked a little higher education. What's going on in the
Well,
bourbon
yeah, we mentioned
world?
this flavor wheel like briefly, just describing it. But
Anybody notice anything new trends in the industry?
well, Discovery 10 came out from Bardstown.
Okay.
I did find out, which, by the way, David, I need to talk to you offline about this, but
Okay.
I got to send an email to her too. We may be doing a live cast from the company on their anniversary.
really,
which
when's
will
their
be-
anniversary?
I have to get back to you on that. It's on a Saturday.
That should be okay, generally speaking. This is just I'm in like Hell Week right now at work, which happens.
No,
like,
it'd be on a
times year.
Saturday most likely, and we would probably be stuck because they're expecting so many people, potentially in the brewing warehouse, like where they're making everything,
Okay.
which will be kind of cool.
That would be
Uh,
awesome, actually. Yeah,
So
I'd be into it.
I might be
I've not
a
even
lo-
been out there. I'll spend $200, but
dude, I'm telling you, I just bought this bottle this past week there. last
I know
Friday.
I synced it. Yeah, it's
And it's like, dude, I might stop buying the company because it's so good and it's so reasonably priced. And you sit there and you're like, this is fantastic. Next thing you know,
as far as you haven't bought stock in the company.
well, I tried to, but there's been some changes in ownership, and that's something we'll have
Ah.
to talk about offline.
Okay.
So, and because I'm not allowed to mention all that, I didn't just mention that there's been some changes in ownership.
Okay. We know nothing. It's fine.
No, I really don't know much more than that.
I've forgotten it already.
So what
What?
I've forgotten what you said already.
Okay,
I don't
cool.
know anything either.
What? Who are you?
So what I've noticed is some of the premium or unicorn bottles are starting to go up in price again.
Yeah.
I actually seen Buffalo Trace close to the $40 mark, which I thought was surprising. Eagle Rare is in the $100 mark,
Yeah, I've seen that.
and we've all know that Blanton's is $250 or better.
Well, here I
I've
can still
seen
probably
Buffalo
find it.
Trace high. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
I was going to say I can still find on occasions I can find Blanton's for around $100, but I haven't found any since you told me to go out looking for it.
Okay.
But when I do, I'm going to just send you it.
I was gonna say I'm not surprised to see Buffalo Trace for $40 because I've already seen it for 50.
Yeah, I have
Like,
too.
Yeah,
Really?
like
I've seen it all the way up.
ago.
I've seen it up to $89 before.
probably like a
I picked
year
it up and I was
ago.
like, "Are you? Is this Mark Drone?" They're
I've
like,
seen
"It's
it.
allocated." I'm like, "That doesn't mean anything."
Yeah, and they do. It's like in to me, it's like in the quality tier of like Sazerac Rye or something like that. That it's like it's kind of like one of those, and it gets bundled in. I mean, not as like you're buying a bunch of them together, but like here's all of these things that were used to be like $30 each or less, and now it's like you're looking at $50 kind of regardless, and it's just become one of those. And I look at it, I go, no, I'm not doing it.
Hey, speaking of
I'm
which,
not doing it.
you want to do another mandate next Friday for Oppenheimer?
I am down for that. I should be down for that. Let me
Nowhere.
check. I do know where.
Because I like going to that place we go first. However, I'm gonna have to kind of tone it back a little bit because I heard that I talked the entire show.
You did, which I didn't mind.
I know because I was talking to you.
Because Indiana Jones, we watched Indiana Jones and do one together. It was a solid viewing. Someone actually asked me about it, like, "Oh, what'd you think?" And I was like, "Oh, I had a really good time," but like, we were kind
That's
of
funny.
like
I can't
riffing and
remember
cracking
anything.
jokes like
The
the
whole
whole
time.
time. And the thing that I remember most strongly is, and if anyone's ever seen I think it's on Amazon. The show Fleabag is like a British comedy, like a romantic comedy that stars a woman who like just has a bunch of disastrous relationships or whatever, and she's like the female lead in the show or in the movie
Yeah.
or whatever, and she does I think a pretty good job. But like it was good. It was way better than the last Indiana Jones,
I agree.
regardless of whatever you think of it. But like, I'm gonna have to watch it again if I'm being honest.
Yeah, so same
like I'm
here,
gonna have
too,
to
then.
see it again at some point.
because we had a
We
a
got-
very good conversation
Yeah.
talking about some of the past guests on this show and some of
Mhm.
the people that we know out there in the world, and then of course we tied it up. Really,
We got a little bit tanked at Boomba's, like we did.
we did,
like,
and
I ordered a double, and it was like so. Here's
well, they
my
know
glass here.
they know me.
I got a glass that was like this full. I was like, it's a double, not like a quadruple. Not complaining.
It's a double for $8 too.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I'm drinking this. Like, it's gonna happen. But like, yeah, I definitely felt it.
I'll let you take me out next time. Maybe you can buy us dinner.
Hey, I want to.
Yeah, with this overtime, I can.
What's
I can
that,
afford
DJ?
it, maybe.
Yeah, I want to circle back to Blanton's, and we're not talking about the secondary market. You're talking about what you can get from a store,
From real, yeah. So like, so
like
I had,
north of 100.
yeah. So I have found it around $100 for me here in my little area. But what's funny is like, so I ordered that stag from Mark, who was fantastic. Sent that to me. I paid. He was only going to sell it to me for, I don't know, $80, $70, whatever, close to like MSRP, pretty close for the stag, right?
Mm.
And so I just Venmo'd him $100 because I was freaking stoked as hell I was getting it. I seen that same bottle on the shelf at two different places locally here for $300.
Mm.
No, man.
And I'm like, and we're talking about Stag Junior. We're not talking about like Grandpa Stag, you know?
yeah.
Mm.
I got a bottle of Stag Junior today for $69.
What? See, I don't.
I'll
I
go
don't
get
know
the
these
receipt
people.
and show you.
No, I believe you. I believe you. I don't think you would say that and have it be false. I would not suspect that. But like, that's not a thing that happens to me. So
Yeah, and then the last time I got a bottle of Blanton's, which was maybe a month ago, $65.
Wow.
You know what's funny is I remember buying it by the case at $42 a bottle.
Yeah.
And I would
I
buy
remember
it by
you
the
telling me
case.
that one time.
I would buy it every time.
What's
by the
kind of like
case.
your last big run is like you would buy that from the case, like you did it several times. You're like, I have so much Blanton's now that.
Oh
it's all
yeah,
new,
I
don't
mean, I
care.
still do have a lot of Blantons, but I sent off a lot of it because I was like, well, first of all, I like Blantons. I know
Yeah,
everybody,
and you're
everybody
generous
knocks
with
it.
it,
Right, and I am generous with my collection of whiskey. I generally let anybody have whatever they want,
No lie.
with the exception of the Queen's bottle, because that's, as I found out recently from my niece, that's going to be my hospice bottle.
Your hospice bottle.
There's only 70 bottles of it made, and
Oh.
it's from Copper Sky, and it's all 26-year-old whiskey.
Mm.
And it's each bottle represents 1 year of her life, of her reign, and so I want to try it, but I don't want to open it because
Right.
there'll never be another series of those bottles, right?
Right.
And I got it at retail, and so long story short with it, that's the only bottle I don't let people open, and they're like, if they ask me, I'm like, well, what are you saving it for? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I mean, I won't be totally stoked when my son has a child, unless it's like 10 years from now. I mean, I'm just being honest, that's not going to make me happy.
And that is why he can't go to Rolling Loud here in Miami.
Yes.
Because he needs more time before he's a granddad. That's what he's really saying, which is, I can appreciate that. Jeff Frost, he says he's got the 68 of the Queen bottle.
I can't
Ooh,
remember
he-
what mine is. I think mine
Well,
is.
He was the hookup with Copper Sky to begin
Yeah,
with.
he was. And now me and Mike, we talk quite frequently. I buy
What?
bottles from him all the time. He ships them to my house,
and that's awesome.
and it's legal for him to do it.
Yeah, no, and again, also awesome. Slight question: he for a while, and not to delve into politics, but he started a podcast, and it seems like it dropped off. Because I was actually listening. Ask him about it sometime because I was interested.
I mean, I can send him a text right now.
Sure. Well, I mean, not right now. We're doing a live show. If anybody,
Let's not get too diverted, right?
Texting your buddies while we're hosting stuff.
But we
wanna
did.
pay attention to
We
it.
had him on the show several times, or twice, I think. One
Yeah,
as
he
a
was
group,
on.
and then I interviewed him by himself once.
What is that? Is
It's a
this
bunch
supposed
of
to,
white squares.
is that supposed to indicate clear ice?
You made that
Is that-
connection.
Is that what up, Mark?
Oh, Marky Mark.
That's it.
But anyway, yeah, back to what we're
Mhm.
chatting about.
Indeed.
So yeah, the pricing has gotten kind of crazy. That's the reason why I've been trying a lot of local stuff. Like, I hate to give him a shout out because me and him have like a Newman type of relationship, like a Jerry and Newman type of relationship. But Tarek down at
He says they're bubbles.
Tarek down at Elixir,
Likely story.
that
Yeah.
guy, he can pick some whiskeys.
Yeah, he
his
can.
store picks are fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Matter of fact,
Mm.
this old elk I got from him. This is the one I had the headstock that actually came from John. I had this is a 127.2, and this is a 7-year-old, and for the tasting, and I mean you can tell I like this bottle,
Yeah,
you know. So,
that's one of my favorites. I really like Old Elk.
and then he had this old character there, and then of course the tumbling dice. Both of those were fantastic too. Old character, I got several of those bottles, and I was just down there 2 weeks ago and asked him. I said, "So when you get another one of those?" He goes, "I don't know. It's going to be a while." I'm like, "Damn! You put it out there for me to want it, to have this
Right.
need for it, and now I can't get it."
He's such a tease.
He is.
Mm.
But our
Can I
relationship.
say something? I have to fucking soapbox just for a second because have almost no food or nourishment in my body and I've been drinking. I gotta say one thing about the Elixir thing. Like they have a great selection, awesome picks. They're wonderful. The last time I was in there, I did not act even remotely presumptuous or entitled or anything like that. I didn't name drop anybody. But I was treated like my money wouldn't spend when I went into that store. And to this day, I don't really understand why. And I won't go back because of it. Like, I don't know. Like, fucking Thomas was there. He was there. He doesn't know me. And again, I didn't name drop. I didn't go, oh, I know Jay and I know these guys. I didn't do any of that stuff. But like, I was treated very poorly when I was in there. And I was like, what the hell is going on here? I don't even understand. Like, I'm a guy with money to spend who's interested in their products. And what you remember, because I came to your house right afterwards and I was like, I came with a bottle. It was that Starward, the single bear, which is a great bottle, by the way. But like, what the hell, guys? Like, know how to treat customers. I'm just gonna throw that out there and we can continue on.
Yeah, they
Now that I on the show to
and that's probably what's been my biggest problem for such a long time with them. However, I don't want to knock them now because as of recently, I am treated pretty well in there. He always offers tastings to me. This last time he just poured me one and I was like, I didn't come here to drink. I've been to the company, and so I've had a few drinks at this point. I just came down here. My palate's already blown. I don't need to come down here and have a drink or two, you know. Now to be fair, they're little thimble sizes, but yeah, Tarek and he'd always been my Newman. He still is my Newman. Like when he told me bye the other day, when I was there, we were like, he's like, man, it's good seeing you. I look forward to seeing you again. I was like, I think we had a good time too. And I go, no, I don't know if that's true or not. And he giggled because he heard it, because people know me. That's my personality. Right. And, but it has gotten better. And I think he realizes that I'm willing to try store picks. I'm willing to give them a run, you know? Because right now store picks are, in my opinion, are some of the best you're going to find out there for the price point, because bourbon is just, along with everything else that's inflated, not to remove the core inflation, but all the things that are inflated. It's difficult, man, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a tough business for sure. I mean, you know, unless you actually own a store and have worked in the industry as an owner, I mean, you really don't, you can't really know what walking in their shoes is going to look like, you know?
Right.
And what floors me is, especially some of the larger liquor stores, is the amount of inventory that they have sitting on the floor. You know, I mean, of everything, not just bourbon, but everything. And if you can imagine what that what the cash outlay on that is just phenomenal.
But I've never seen Total Wines not busy. Me and the wife go in there probably every Saturday, and it's always busy. The parking lot's always full. So they have a market, and they have a clientele that, despite whatever's going on, people are still buying.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's one of those things where even I consider Total Wines to be a big box store. Even their prices have gone up significantly. Whereas, Evan Williams, the Black Label, it's past the $25 mark. I can remember even at Costco where Buffalo Trace was $18 a bottle with no limit.
Yeah.
And now, you guys say you've seen it as high as 50. So
Wow.
Is it the market?
$12, by the way.
Yeah, is it the
$12.
white label still 16?
Yeah, it's about 17, but
Well, you get the gallon for like $29.
Yeah.
You used to be able to get it for like 23, and now it's 29, which is noticeable, but like not.
Right.
You're not hurting yourself in any kind of way there. Like you're still. It's a
You
great.
know what we ought to do? We ought to do another show coming up. We need to revisit the under $30 show, and all of us pick a bottle of under $30, and we tried that here. What would you pick? Because we can sit here and talk about it, but I think if you see our true reactions to some of it, because there's some $20, $30. I mean, outside of what's it called, Old Tub. I love that one, by the way.
I love Old Tub.
Old Tub's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, but outside of that, it's hard for me to go into the less than $40 range, to be honest with you, because a lot of that stuff I just don't like. But Evan Williams is one I like.
For sure.
It's solid. Turkey 101 is fantastic.
May I make a suggestion as a slight spin on it? It has to be not blind as in that you don't know what you're drinking, but like something sight unseen. Like you've never had it before. You don't know if it's going to be good or not. Like I'm going to pick this minus Intel and saying like,
God damn it, Jack.
We're going to
freaking Jack Frost.
No, it's made by Jim Beam.
There you go.
There
Thank
you go. Jim
I
Beam.
appreciate that there.
Jody can still drink it now. It's okay. It's gonna be all right, guys.
And it's a cool story behind how they come up with Old Tub for that label.
It's Jack Beam.
Yeah, Jack Beam.
Jack Beam.
But there's still some things out there,
that's hilarious.
like the Caribbean cast from Jesus Christ, I'm having a brain fart. David, what's the one that we both liked?
It's talking about Balvenie.
No, not Balvenie.
Oh, okay,
There's a lower tier because
I was getting ready to pull that from our shelf. I have a shelf right here underneath me, right this place.
That's the whiskey. That's a
it's
whiskey Rebellion
chef. Yeah,
that's a bottle for the Whiskey Rebellion only.
No,
I mean, I will never drink that, but
I know
you
won't because it's Scotch. But yeah, I know what you're talking about because you told me about it a long time ago.
Yeah,
I just can't remember what.
Yeah, I can't remember what brand it was.
It was a lower end offering. That was a Caribbean cask, and I was like, I'm very interested in this because you always talked it up.
Yeah, and it's still the same. Jesus, why can't I remember the name?
Another show
we'll come
I
back
did
around
too
to
would
it.
be that I wouldn't mind us maybe discussing
Oh,
again
good,
at one
Jack.
point would be Irish whiskeys, and the reason why I bring that up is because they're not seeing the inflated rates that the rest of the world is seeing. And I don't know why that is. I'll start there. I don't know why that is. I would imagine it has to do with demand is not as strong.
It's less hyped, and I also think
but
that
the Irish whiskey, man, there's some like the Green Dot, Yellow Dot. I've never had Blue Dot. Those are fantastic. Then you got the Middletons, which is the best Irish whiskey I've ever had in my life. I have a bottle upstairs. It was the very first unicorn pick I ever got.
Middleton's, Redbreast,
Redbreast.
Redbreast. There's
So
Writer's Tears. Like there's lots of good.
Here's an Irish whiskey that's like relatively cheap as Powers. And I don't know if you've ever heard of it or even tasted it, but so I came from the Irish whiskey side long before I got into bourbon. And I mean, I used to, Yeah, Jameson's and
course.
Bushmill Black,
Mhm.
Powers,
The Black Bush.
Redbreast 12 is
Mhm.
awesome.
Yeah, it is.
You know, on that every
People
you know,
say it's too strong, which I think is the weirdest take ever. But I guess maybe I'm a little more
Yeah.
exposed to, you know, bourbon and, you know, high proof, you know.
yeah, I
alcohol.
go to
I'm like, what are you talking about? This is
I go to
wonderful.
Redbreast every St. Patty's Day.
Absolutely same.
Yeah, yeah.
Same.
So I wouldn't do the St. Patty's Day the disservice of drinking, you know, bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to
But
be
I-
Irish whiskey.
But I also wonder if the
Very nice, Jack.
materials,
Go ahead.
the materials that are used to put these products together, if they're seeing such an increase that's a part of why the product itself has been increased overall. Because if anybody knows anything about producing a bottle of barbecue sauce, you know, things can definitely raise your price overall. So I
Overall
don't.
production. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing too is that the Irish whiskeys are not, you know, they're not aged in brand new white oak barrels either. I
yeah,
mean,
but here's the other part to that though. What you're saying, and I apologize to interrupt you there, DJ.
That's right.
But everything that's on the shelf today has never hit inflation in the supply chain because it's all aged,
Yeah.
right? So
Right.
yeah.
are they? I really think it comes down to demand is the reason why prices.
Yeah, I think it's
skyrocket.
responding to the market. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I can definitely see that because if Buffalo Trace is up to $50, it's definitely a trend, and it's the demand.
You know, the good thing about Buffalo Trace though is that is a really easy bottle to drink from. Like it's not something I'm ever sought out to look for. Still
Yeah.
today, I do like it. I do have it. Like when we went to Boom Bars, I had a few pours of it,
Yeah.
and I
We
find
did.
it to be I find it to be solid, but it's not what I'm going for. Like it's generally not what I'm looking for, right? So, I understand why people are looking for it because it is part of the Buffalo Trace lineage, and it's definitely allocated. But if there was going to be like a signature bottle from Buffalo Trace, if I could get any of them all the time at MSRP, honestly, this goes back to the very first show. It would not be Blanton's, it would be Eagle Rare. Because that
100%.
Eagle Rare 10-year is just the best pour of
It is
what should be
so
readily
good,
available whiskey
always.
ever, in my opinion. And it's 100 proof, and it's just fucking fantastic. It's just evenly
that's
balanced.
what got me going on bourbon is Eagle Rare.
Yeah.
And
Well, ask David about his opportunity to try 17.
Yeah, I had the 17. It was legitimately a religious experience for me. Like,
And he's not a person of faith.
I am now.
Bourbon will do that to you.
I came to the light with Eagle Rare 17.
There you go.
It is without reservation the best liquor that has ever touched these lips. Like seriously, like, and I've had some good things. I've had some great things. Even
You know that Willet 19
nothing-
is really good too. That Jay brought
the
over.
Willet 19 was excellent. Don't get me wrong.
That's in my top two. Those are my top two, probably.
I would say that is my third in top three. It's that Weller Foolproof and Eagle Rush 17
Well, I've had several
sits at
bottles
the
of
top.
foolproof. You're always welcome to have a bottle here. I mean,
Well, hey, I mean, that was always like that. This is the potentially obtainable unicorn for me.
Yeah.
Is the Weller Foolproof? Like seriously, but like, yeah, the Eagle Rush 17.
So,
man,
I had
man.
I went down to, it's not called the Plantation. It's called Patterson House. All right. So,
yeah.
So I went to the Patterson House. I've been there a few times. But matter of fact, it's one of my favorite places to go. You just have to wear a jacket, which I love. I love to dress up anyhow. But you have to, it is a requirement. You have to have a jacket on. You go into the place, it's like an old speakeasy. You have to go behind a curtain and all this stuff.
Mm.
And they kind of stop you out front. You'll even know the place is there if you're not looking for it. Right.
Right.
And they have just tons of whiskeys all over the place. And there are scotches, they have bourbons, they have Irish whiskeys. Everything is aged, by the way. It's no young shit up there, right? And not even their well drinks are young. Like it's all freaking fantastic. But anyway, I had the opportunity. I posted a picture and put it in the VIP chat. And by the way, if you're not a member in the VIP chat, you should be. And that's a you issue, not a me issue. But and you also should like and subscribe, and I don't know, turn on the notification.
Hit the little bell. Yeah,
hit the little bell.
When we're doing this shit, you'll know what's up.
Yeah, you know we're coming up. But anyway, so back to that. They had both straight from the barrel, and then single barrel. They had that, and then they also had the what's it called, the perfect bourbon, the PBY.
Oh, the Weller.
Yeah.
And
I tried both of those.
Yeah, pick your own barrel or something like that.
Yeah. So I tried both of those, and honestly, my favorite line of Weller, outside of LaRue, which is the best of the Weller products, so excluding.
Oh, Jack.
Yeah, well,
it's too soon.
We're
Still
working
too
on
soon,
it.
man.
We're working on it.
We're working
Frosty.
on it, man.
But
Just stay frosty, all right?
Yeah. But think of why you're in timeout. But anyway, the penalty box.
The last couple of years.
But yeah, that 2 minutes turned into 2 years. But anyway, so back to that. I actually find their foolproof and their 12-year to be the best Weller product outside of
I'm a big Weller 107, antique 107.
And I have some of that too. But I don't
Yes.
look for it like I used to. Like when I first got into the bourbon world, 107 was one of the ones that, like, one of my friends, Dave, comes over, and that's his favorite, and I always have it on hand for him. And matter of fact, he's the only person that's ever drank from that bottle. And I'm at the point to tell him to take it home, but I've already bought him one. I'm like, I shouldn't have to buy all of them for you, you know?
Well, I don't know. Did you guys experience the foolproof drop last week?
I heard about it. I didn't see it out, but I have 2 bottles of foolproof right now, so I'm not looking for it.
It was the weirdest thing because I'm on Facebook all the time, right? So,
Yeah, but I got kicked out of that freaking group.
Which one?
You know which one? We'll talk offline about it.
Okay, but anyway,
Most of them usually.
So, anyways, I looked at the Facebook group and they said Providence got Weller full. I looked at the date stamp on it. It was 8 minutes, and I'm about 10 minutes away from the place.
Yeah, like
So I jumped.
you
I
and my
jumped in-
mom are very close to that place.
So I drove down there. Sure enough, they had 10 cases sitting on the floor. I grabbed a bottle, went home, back to my office rather. Then I get an
Home
email
office.
from my other one that says Weller full. So I go, okay. So I go over there, and so I ended up getting 3 bottles last week, Weller full retail.
God
There
damn.
you go.
I know. It was
You know
just
what's
lucky.
funny is I've been wanting to do that with my mom, because my mom was the one that got me the Davison Reserve, and so I'm kind of scared for her to ever get me anything again.
Yeah.
That was
You
horrible.
gotta
guys-
hear that.
Can I get, because my neighbor will never see this. I have a Davidson Reserve weeded that was given to me as a birthday present. I like weeders.
But
Do you
that
guys have
person
any-
doesn't like you at all.
You
Did
don't.
you like it?
I haven't opened it yet.
Oh, okay.
I told him I'd open it because we're supposed to hang out on Sunday. Told me I was going to open it then among friends and stuff like that and share it.
By the way, David,
I like weeders.
David had a birthday this past week.
Yeah,
Yes.
Monday.
Yeah.
Shit. Is it
Oh,
still this week? Thank you. I'm like fucking
And
fucking
how-
3 days
David?
ago. I am 42 years old.
Oh, okay. Nice.
kid.
I'll take it. I will definitely take it. This is because I'm in the middle of hell week at work. It's like,
Well, I was practicing
Did I
some
have
like
a birthday this week?
what's
Did that
it's
happen?
funny
I
you
can't
say
remember.
that. You said you feel like a kid or whatever, you don't, or I'll take it, this, that, and whatever.
There you go.
I was practicing my white supremacy earlier when I was working out.
Oh god.
Because
I read like a third of that article.
you
There's
need to get
nothing
down
in
to
there.
yeah, you do. You gotta get down to the quote. It's halfway, it's more than halfway down.
Okay,
but,
I'll get there.
But anyway, so being facetious, if you work for MSNBC, you know what I was talking about.
But we don't
but-
talk politics here. It's cool.
Yeah. So, but I was doing that earlier, and like my son walks in, he's like, and he is jacked. All right, he's a jack kid. He's fucking fit as fuck. All right. I'm still stronger than him, but I can tell you what, so this week I think I may have re-broke my elbow on my left side again. So
Nice.
If you were worried about the day where he's stronger than you, if you're worried about it, you're doing it wrong. I'm just gonna say that, like, as you know, friendly parental advice. Like,
What is it? Is it a race to have the
you
more
shouldn't have to be
surgeries
able
than
to
somebody
beat
else?
his ass for, you know, for
no, I
him to be
can't beat
raised
his
right.
ass. I'm way faster than him when it comes to certain things. Like he's not gonna know. It'd be just like when my dad beat my ass. My dad was fat as fuck, and I'll never
we've
forget
had this story. This is not a good story, by the way. You're talking about child abuse. Just for frame of reference.
I disagree with you because like
No,
I was
discipline.
16. Yeah, I was. So it's different old. It's different.
When
old
we
school.
were growing up, it was called discipline. I hear
Right.
you.
So, but that's because our world has gotten soft. But and I hope it never comes to
No.
that day that my dad and not my dad and I, me and Preston ever have to, raise our fist to each other. But I will never forget. So I was practicing music, and my great aunt Lucy, she pretty much raised us. She was with us and stuff like that all the time, and I admire her. She's a wonderful woman. But anyway, I was at that rambunctious 17, 16-year-old age, and she was like, she wanted me to have dinner with them, and I was like, and that was a big thing for her. Like every night we had family dinner every night. And I was just at that point that day, I was like, you know what? I don't want pork chops. It is what it is, you know?
Mhm.
And so he's an idiot. But anyway.
Like turtles. Okay.
But anyway,
all right, Jack.
So she
I started the after show early, by the way. You guys who are still watching, this is good stuff. Go ahead.
Yeah. So my dad gets home from work, and my Aunt Lucy says, or my dad goes, "Where's Jody at?" And she's like, "Well, Joe, he doesn't want to eat tonight." He goes, well, that's not how it's going to be, because that he was real traditional as well. So he comes busting into my room, and he's like, "Hey, boy, you smoking dope?" And I'm like, "I'm sitting here playing guitar. Like, I don't even understand what you're saying. Like, I'm playing guitar. I'm not bothering anybody, right?" But I quit goat thinking for a second, and so I stood up, and I'm like, "Dude, I got this. Like, you're out of shape. Yeah, I used to be a ranger and all that bullshit, but you're not in shape anymore." I was built like Preston at that time. I don't remember anything else other than looking up at my father from the floor. and he's like, "Son, I can help you up and you can come to dinner, or I can just continue stomping the shit out of you." And I was like, I was craving pork chops. Let's do this.
Got a complete attitude adjustment.
As hilarious as that is, like, it's still not a good story. Like, I mean,
I disagree. That's a great story. That's how everybody grew up prior to
be a good
participation
trophies, is what I'm saying.
But that's how everyone grew up prior to participation trophies.
Yeah, it's how I grew up too. I'm saying it's not a good thing.
I don't believe that because I know your parents. I don't believe that at all.
You don't know my parents. You never met them.
I know, but I know them because you've told me about them. There's no way I'm gonna believe at any time they ever gone, "Little David, I don't want to spack you, but I will."
I used to get my ass beat all the time when I was a kid.
I don't believe that.
So my father was
because it happened.
My father was a truck driver.
Yeah.
And so he was on the road all the time. And it left my mother.
So he saved up his ass whipping.
Short Italian, short-tempered, right? And so she was the disciplinarian until we got a little bit bigger, because then she would try to hit us with yardsticks and broomsticks and all that other shit. And we would just take it away from her, which pissed her off even worse. So anyways, one of my younger brothers really pissed me off, right? And I told him I was going to kill him. So he starts running away from me. I pick up one of my shoes. I have size 12 feet. I've had size 12 feet virtually my whole life. Anyways, I take one of these dress shoes.
Odd 7-year-old.
Dress shoes. Oh, that's leather.
Size 12, that weigh 17 pounds each.
Shiny.
And I threw it at my brother, right? And he went around the corner to go down the stairs, and I didn't lead him correctly. So my shoe hit the wall and put a big hole in it. In the sheetrock, right? So
your dad came home to that.
My father came home to my mother. My younger brother, who I threw the shoe at, explained the situation. And my father came up to my room and he noticed the hole in the wall, which was the size of a size 12 shoe. Well,
so
after my father got done talking to me, there was a silhouette of my body that could crush the wall.
Yeah, I see. And what's funny about the plan with my dad and I always plan like I just run around the yard like 2 or 3 times. He'll fucking pass out from a heart attack or something, you know? That's exactly what I thought. I didn't get that way. I didn't have a chance to react.
He probably recognized this as well.
What I did was I took off my guitar and I stood up and I'm like, and I remember saying, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Boom. That's all I remember.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't say that to my father. No,
I never said that again to my
You know,
father.
the thing that got me with my mother was really like the more like hardline person and would like kind of enlist my dad to be the physical disciplinary. I got my ass beat all the time by my dad, but it was at my mother's behest. He never really wanted to do it. I don't think his heart was ever really in it, but he did it. Used to beat my ass all the time as a kid. Up until the point I was big enough to dislocate his elbow the last time he tried it. And he ended up going, to the emergency room and all that stuff. The thing that got me to really change my behavior was seeing their disappointment in me and what I was doing. That got me worse than any I could take the belt. Like I was ready for it. I was like,
real quick, David, I'm disappointed in you.
Yeah. So
you're not my father. You're nowhere near having that level of influence with me.
I'm still disappointed in you.
Yeah,
that's which tells me I'm living my life correctly.
Hey, Jody, you remember the Navy term smokers, don't you?
Yep, I do.
Yeah.
I do. I've gotten smoked by the smokers before.
My father was a smoker in World War II on a cruiser. He was a gunner's mate. A smoker. So on Saturday nights, while you're in the Navy back in the day, and probably still today, but they used to have boxing matches. That was called smokers.
Okay.
Right? And so my father was a very good boxer, and he was a gunner's mate on a guided missile not a guided missile destroyer, a light cruiser in World War II. But he was a very good boxer.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so they would take him off the cruiser and they fly him to the aircraft carrier to get to do the
fight.
The fights, the smokers, right? And so, needless to say, he got out of the Navy and then was a truck driver forever. So he really didn't put up with any shit at all. I mean, he'd much rather knock your ass out than anything else, right? But anyway, so growing up with my dad, I learned very early that it was far better to ingratiate myself to him than be on his bad side.
For sure.
And then I actually became his clone. That's what my family refers to me as, my dad who's passed away, but I was always his clone.
Yeah, my dad's passed away too. It's funny. Well, his death date's coming up the week after next. But it's funny. It's funny when you reminisce on some of the things that happened. Like I think that incident, to be perfectly honest with you, made my dad and I closer. Because the first time I went to Iraq, I remember we went to the airport and TSA let the family walk all the way to the gate, right? My dad he was a big time smoker, and he was like, well, gave me a hug. Oh no, he didn't give me a hug. He shook my hand. He goes, well, you got it to do. And literally turned around. He's not going to see his son for a year, and just walked on to the smoke pit. That's how he rolled. But back to the smokers. So I'm not going to bring up any incriminating evidence because several of those people are fans of our show that have been there from this squadron. But there was a time. There was a time when I got to go behind the maintenance shed with a few of the people I worked with when I was a junior sailor, because I had this. I know this comes to shock everybody, but I was a smartass, just a little bit.
No,
and then I had this problem with being a little bit cocky.
No,
I know. Thank you guys.
You're the most humble guy. You just
how many times did you make E3?
Well,
3 or 4 times?
No. So actually, I went in and was.
I'm just kidding you.
But no, on a real, because of the rate and the job I chose, I actually went in as an E2, and then as soon as I finished the schools, I was promoted to E4. Yeah. So I went straight to E4.
Yeah. So my father went in as an E1, made E2, made E3, forgot that he was in the smokers, punched out his LPO, got busted, and then got promoted again, and then got busted again. And so when he got discharged, he was an E2.
That's funny you say it. My dad made E6 3 times.
Yeah, exactly.
As a Ranger with 2 Purple Hearts and got out as an E1.
Yeah, exactly. I always like to see the first class with red stripes, and then on his sleeve,
I still have
there's
red real quick.
eight or 9 of them, and they're all red rather than gold.
I'll be honest with you. I'm retired from the military, and all my stripes are red, and we'll just leave it at that. This was a great show, guys. So
yeah, man, we're 10 after.
Yeah, we are. So we're going to end the broadcast now. Gino's favorite thing is hey, what's your name?
What is your name?
Tony.
Fuck you, Tony.
Bye-bye.
All right. Before we go, let me give a special shout out to the wife and my son Jaden. They're watching us, so
the wife joined.
Enjoy,
that was cool.
Kate is so hot.